Baker Mayfield is back. He is going to be the starter against the Ravens.
I told you he'd start another game in the NFL.
I didn't expect P.J. Walker to all of a sudden have a high ankle sprain. There was no report about that until earlier this week.
One way or the other, I said he would start another game. I
don't think he deserves it, but
sooner rather than later.
It's him. But you have to realize it's him or Sam Darnold. Yeah, even though he played bad early in the year, he still beat out Sam Darnold for that starting job. And P.J. Walker came in, and Steve Wilkes said, yeah, well, Baker Mayfield isn't going to be the starter the rest of the year. P.J. Walker gets hurt. He has to bring up Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield is just better than Sam Darnold. And there were reports coming out from the Panthers camp saying that supposedly that the Panthers might have wanted Sam Darnold to be in there, give him a chance over Baker Mayfield.
I wouldn't.
Well, that's interesting. Baker Mayfield in his career is a 3-5 record against these Ravens. The problem is Ravens are getting a little bit healthier. They're sort of coming into form right now. Lamar has seemed to clean up some of his fourth quarter mistakes. So do you think Baker Mayfield and these Panthers have a shot at beating these Ravens? And do you think Baker Mayfield could retain this starting job moving forward?
I don't think they're going to beat the Ravens. I do think that he has a chance of retaining his starting job if he plays well.
Well, define well against them.
Yeah, complete 60% of your passes, throw a couple of touchdowns, no interceptions.
That's going to be difficult.
That would get him in there. It's over 200 yards passing, something like that. That will keep him in there.
Well,
a high ankle sprain, Walker's going to be out for a while.
Usually, it's 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the
so he
grade.
Might be done for the year.
It could be, potentially. The last time Baker Mayfield played the Ravens, he completed 68% of his throws, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The only game he's ever played in his career against the Ravens where he didn't throw an interception, he completed 48% of his throws, 247 yards, a touchdown, no pick. They lost that game. I could bring it up right now. Passer rating of 79.4. Barely lost 16-10 with the Browns. 3-5 record. His wins.
I just don't think the Panthers' defense is going to be able to contain Lamar Jackson.
That could be. They're showing more passion than they did.
Mayfield could play well on offense. The offense could be good, but I just think that the Ravens' offense is going to be way too much for the Panthers' defense.
That could very well be. Looking at this, I had so much hope for Baker Mayfield this year, and for him to go out, I honestly think he should have beaten the Browns in Week 1. I've talked about this consistently. The flag was thrown for intentional grounding. The ref picked it up and said, not intentional grounding, and then that you lose on like the over a 55-yard field goal. I think it was like 56 to 58 yards. You go out, you threw for like 150 yards in the fourth quarter in that game. And then you come out and play 4 more games after that, and you're so underwhelming. It's so disappointing. Baker Mayfield just, he didn't have it. I thought, new team, new motivation, sort of have a chance to, right the wrong that you did because you got backstabbed by your own team, went out. I mean, I can understand it. I think Deshaun Watson's better than Baker Mayfield, but we'll see in 2 weeks from now, Week 13 against Deshaun Watson's former team, the Houston Texans. We'll see how well he plays to end the year. But this is his first start since Week 5. I mean, he played. I'm not gonna say he played well because at that point in the Bengals game, the game was over. So they were sort of they took out most of their starters. You put in some backups. Baker Mayfield could sort of eat. But I don't have a lot of faith in this Panthers team. I do think they'll cover. It's a 13-point spread. We're going to get to our picks in a number of minutes here, but I just don't. Maybe it'll be close. Maybe we could see like a 30-20 game. I know that's not that close, but it's a 13-point spread. And I say they're covering. So can the offense be somewhat consistent? Can you run the ball with Dante Foreman? We'll have to see because the Ravens defense they've been pretty bad in the passing game. They've been okay. I think they've been pretty good. I could look up their rankings right now, but through most of the year they were like bottom 3 in passing defense, and right now they're 28th in passing defense. They are 3rd in rushing defense, and we're gonna take a look because they're also 2nd in rushing offense. The Panthers in rushing defense are 26th. So we'll see. Can Baker Mayfield and the Panthers play keep away, maybe minimize Baker Mayfield's mistakes, or can the defense keep up? Let's say Baker Mayfield, could only put up 20 points, 18 points, something like that. Can the defense hold Lamar to 15 points, 16 points?
No.
It's going to be a question mark. It will be a question mark.
I mean, the Ravens have been scoring more than 20 points every game, right? I mean, they're up there.
Yeah.
Their offense is, they have a good offense.
The lowest points they scored all year was 19 against the Bengals.
Yeah. So they're going to score. I would say they're going to get close to 30 points.
Yeah, maybe they've scored 30 points twice this year, 27 points also twice this year. So they score a decent amount of points. They are fourth in points scored this year. So, it's something. They're a high scoring team. The Panthers, on the other hand, are ranked 23rd in points scored. So they're not great at putting up points. So we'll definitely have to take a look and see. But does he have a shot at beating them? No.
I would say, any team on any given Sunday, right?
That's true.
Somebody might win. And so maybe they have a small chance to beat them. The game is in where?
The game is at Ravens.
At Ravens. So everything's working against them there.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to win.
Does he have a chance to retain his starting role for me, though? I mean,
it's going to be Darnold, him or Darnold.
Right. It's him or Sam Darnold. So I would say, on that case, yes, I think he will retain it, just because it's him or Sam Darnold who is.
Unless he really blows it. Unless he has a horrible game, then they might start Darnold next week. But
could be.
I think she's going to try really hard to have a decent game. He needs to lift himself out of this funk he's in. But
I thought he would do it because, he played really well in the fourth quarter against the Browns. He played okay in the game against the Giants. Then against the Saints, Cardinals, and Niners, I'll give him a break. He got hurt in that game, and the Niners are just a significantly better team. But against the Cardinals and the Saints, he was able to beat the Saints, but that was mainly because the defense got a pick six. Against the Cardinals, though, look at the Cardinals. They aren't anything too special. I said they'd miss the playoffs. So it was just very underwhelming because I thought Baker Mayfield, usually because in Oklahoma, when you counted him out, he had all this type of swagger, but I think it wasn't swagger. I think it was just sort of, it wasn't confidence. It was more, ego. And Baker Mayfield had a big ego problem. And he just, maybe this was humbling for him. I mean, it was so bad. There were videos coming out of the Panthers practices of him being him practicing, the offensive line practices blocking assignments. Baker Mayfield was one of the replacement defensive linemen. He wasn't even practicing throws; he was practicing pass rushing just to give the offensive lineman some help. So maybe I hope he's humble. I hope he'll come out and throw for 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, complete 65% of his throws, make it competitive. Realistically, though, like you said, I can see the Ravens putting up, 30 points. You just if the Panthers keep it competitive, I'll say yeah, he could keep his starting job. But if they get blown out, if he pulls a PJ Walker against the Bengals, they go 35-0 against you. You throw for 30%. Your chances of starting ever again are going to be basically zero.
That's right. I'm sure he knows that, and I bet he's pumped up to try to play well.
That is the big question.